Rare Spirits Society.
Bueno. So we're here. We have been waiting for this moment a long time. But finally, yesterday we were lucky enough to receive these beautiful samples of Cihuatan rums. I mean, we launched this project in June, but we have been talking to these guys since last year. They're awesome. And finally, we are one step closer to acquiring their barrels. But first, I mean, we have tried before their rums. I mean, they do amazing stuff, but we wanted to kind of taste the raw, what comes into the blend, right? Like specifically from different years, different finishes of different barrels. But these are not blends, these are just different rums from different ages. And today we're going to discuss a little bit about them. We're going to try them. Good that this is the last episode that we're recording today, because after this one, I can feel that bed will be the next step.
So we climbed the mountain. We climbed 3 mountains today.
We are going to be tasting Cihuatan, which is El Salvador first rum. They have a very interesting story because they really are inspired by the Mayan heritage that they have. You know, the Maya, they were very curious people. They were studying the stars and studying the numbers, and they were creating stuff ahead of time, you know, and that's what they did because they created the first rum from El Salvador. They have a very long history because they own the sugar farms and the sugar mills for almost 100 years. But they only started making rum in 2004. I mean, it's a big enterprise because they have the sugarcane, they have coffee, but also now since 2004 they have rum. First things first.
Awesome entry, my friend.
Yes. So what we have here, let's go quickly, right? So we have fresh light rum. They're all at 65, 63, 62, around there, all of them, right? So very quickly, we have fresh light rum. We have aged rum 4 years in ex-bourbon. Then we have an aged rum 8 years, American oak new barrel. Aged rum 10 years ex-bourbon. 13 years ex-bourbon. 14 years ex-bourbon plus 1 year in ex-cognac.
Nice.
18 years ex-bourbon plus 2 years ex-sherry, which I'm not sure if it's Pedro Jimenez or Oloroso. And 18 years ex-bourbon plus 2 years ex-river salt, which is a sweet wine from the Languedoc region in south of France. Let's do this because the idea of this is, I mean, we have been talking with them for almost a year. We have tried all their rums, which we're going to do in other episodes, trying their different expressions. For example, we have here an amazing single barrel, which only 240 bottles were produced from that barrel. And this is bottle number 46 of 240. And this barrel owner is Christian de Montaguer from Paris. They actually have a shop called Christian de Montaguer.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, exactly. We met him and Jerry as well, and Jerry Gittany. And
Awesome guy.
They actually had the barrel. They all empty already, but they had the actual barrel at the shop. And we were lucky enough to get one of his bottles. But this one, I don't think we're going to try. We tried it at the shop, amazing, but I don't think we're going to ever try this one because I don't want to open that bottle.
Collection piece.
But eventually we will be trying all the expressions of Cihuatan, but today we're concentrating purely on let's call it raw material or what they use for the blends. And that's what we are going to decide today if we buy the barrels, because we haven't tasted the raw material. We need to taste and then decide, does it pass the test? Do we actually get some of it of their barrels? So let's do this. It's already in order, and it just makes sense to try in order of aging. And we will end up with a finished cask with ex-cognac, ex-sherry, and ex-river salt sweet wine. So
how much is this age? 0 to
20.
Wow, it's a good ride.
Let's do this. Let's start with the fresh light rum. So this is straight from the column still because they use column still. And normally the rums are mainly molasses based, but they also do the sugar, what they call sugar syrup or sugar honey, because they own the sugarcane field, so they can do that. But let's try the fresh light rum unaged. These are all, as mentioned before, from 61, I read, to 65. This is 65. So, Luigi, be careful.
I will try. Wow. 12.
First time we tried it, so we have no tasting notes from before. We are going straight to it. Smells beautiful. I mean, very alcoholic. Well, 65% on age, so you can imagine this will be the toughest one. Toughest one is for the start. So then get your tongue and your palate already used to this. So it smells really fresh, you know, like, I mean, alcohol is definitely there. The ethanol
Smells
is definitely there.
It smells fresh like the palm trees. It smells like palm trees.
Could smell like palm trees or like with sugar cane trees.
Just the air here in the palm trees and the sugarcane trees.
I feel like a little hint of like mint, or you know, like a herb, like a very fresh herb, like mint. Or we don't have a spitting bowl. Normally, when you're tasting so many, you will actually taste and then spit it. But today, we go all the way, all the way,
All the way outside.
man. My God. Okay.
Agárrate.
I felt. Wow. Amazing. I mean, my tongue.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's a. As soon as it hit my tongue and my lips, I could feel evaporation of alcohol going through my mustache. You know, like, that's funny. Try it. Oh, you don't have a mustache.
I don't have it.
Can you feel through the lip like evaporating?
¿Verdad? Wow.
Crazy. Like,
Yeah. It's awesome.
Okay.
It's really nice.
Well, it's a good
Good.
start because I was afraid of this one, but
No, I
Okay.
want one of those. That's fresh. I like freshness. And this one.
normally the long-term strategy for Rare Spirit Society is buying barrels in what we call age 0 or like year 0, freshly distilled. So actually, this is what normally the long-term strategy that we have from every distillery. We buy this, or we age it, and we own it throughout the aging process. But because we're just at the start of our project, we also don't want members to wait 6 years for the first bottling, right? Because the idea is that we own all the liquid, all the members co-own the whole rare rum collection. That means the whole collection of the actual liquid inside. Well, the members have the voting power to decide, do we actually sell it back and the profit comes back into the rare rum collection or a wallet or a spirit society, or we can also bottle this. But imagine we're at the start that we have to wait 6 years for the first bottle. That's a long time.
No, we don't want
So that's why we're also trying age, because we are considering at this moment to buy some aged product already and maybe age it a few more extra months in a different barrel or to give it a finish, so we can actually have bottles for our members soon, right? So that's why we're doing it. So I think this definitely passes the test. No, I will keep it here because it's always interesting to go back, go back and go.
Okay.
So let's do this.
Don't go crazy.
So this one is 4 years ex-bourbon.
Ex-bourbon is the most used type of cask.
It's the most common cask that rum distilleries and even whiskey distilleries in Scotland use, because bourbon, they have a law, right, that you have to use new barrels. They have to use bourbon new barrels. They have to be American oak as well. So that means that when a bourbon company ages their bourbon and they empty the barrels for bottling, they cannot use the barrels again. So they're ready available. Although this last couple of years has been really tough to get them, but it's still, yes, the most common. That's why actually for Cihuatan specifically, they mainly use ex-bourbon. They mainly use ex-bourbon, sugarcane syrup or sugar honey, and column still. So that's what they use. mainly. So that's what we were trying today. So let's try this 4-year ex-bourbon, 63%. Actually, let's do this. So, and see, this was the fresh light rum. And now we're trying the aged 4 years ex-bourbon, 63%. Totally different. Wow, it's like totally different. I can already feel a little bit that bourbonish accent, so I don't know if you can feel a little more sweetness even on the nose. You don't even have to try it in the mouth first, but you can already smell more floral or sweet than the first one. The first one was very alcoholic, very like straightforward. This one has already these beautiful notes.
To me, it was like I was discovering wood. It's like the wood was just really there.
Yeah, that's actually a big jump from freshly distilled to 4 years.
And also it's spicier. It has like a spice.
Definitely the ex-bourbon there. Definitely some oak. I think beautiful. I think there's even a hint of vanilla already kind of arriving. But the oak is definitely there. So normally the rums that when they blend for the final products, they start with 4 or 8 years already. So I didn't see anything lower than when I was checking all their products. I didn't see anything with younger than 4 years. So maybe that's why they send it, because that's how they start their blends, at least 4 years.
Okay.
So
I think this pass.
it's evolving really well, actually. So we're definitely in the right track.
Yes.
Because actually, if this is only from the freshly distilled on 4 years, I can only imagine that we want to probably buy one barrel of each.
Yes.
Gabriela Ayala is their master distiller, and she also takes a lot of this kind of Mayan heritage when thinking about the blending and the aging process. We don't have it here today, but they even do a finishing. In this case, we have cognac, ex-sherry, and river salt. Salt. I don't know how to pronounce it in French. But they also have, maybe I'm going to mispronounce it, I think it's a ceiba. Ceiba?
La ceiba.
It's a tree.
Yeah, but I don't know how to say it in English. A ceiba.
Ceiba. So that's a local tree, which actually the Maya used to, how do you say that?
Worship.
To worship this tree. It represented prosperity,
Life.
strength, life, and a bunch of things. So they actually do a finish in one of those ceiba, ceiba, whatever tree. Unfortunately, we're not trying today, but we should definitely try it one day. So here, we're doing the aged rum, 8 years, American oak new barrel. Okay, so that's why it's important to keep the previous one, because we can go back and forth. This is not ex-bourbon. This is American oak new barrel.
Straight from the source.
Straight from the source. So what they do is like, when you buy ex-bourbon barrels, the same copperage, because normally the barrels not necessarily come straight from the distillers, the ex-bourbon.
Okay.
Normally distillers will sell it back to the copperage, which is the guys who make new barrels. So they actually receive them and they check them and fix them, because after a few years, some of them are leaking or something. So when you buy from a copperage, you can buy ex-bourbon and American new oak. So 8 years. Okay. So I don't know if you can feel the difference, but
It's sweeter.
Yeah, like before it had like a little like this bourbon or like whiskey touch, which this one, at least on the nose, let's see and try it, doesn't.
It's crazy how they are so different.
Okay.
It's just like a wild horse that is just kicking back.
Better. Like that.
Yes. Hmm. Interesting.
Okay, I like it a lot. I don't want to say I like it better than this one,
I like it better than the second.
but I think my brain is
I like it better than
Trying to
the
say-
other two.
yeah. I mean, I love bourbon.
One for me.
I fell in love with bourbon a long time ago, but especially when I went to Kentucky with my father, and we visited like 7 bourbon distilleries. Completely fell in love. But I would say that this American oak new barrel, I think I like it a little bit better than the expert.
The copperage. The copperage.
And this why I feel like a bit more fruity or floral. It was, more like dried fruits, which I didn't feel in the previous one. Okay,
Nice.
okay. Heading definitely in the right direction. So, all right, we're planning to buy around 5 barrels from them right now because they allocated to us up to 50 barrels to start with. But the beauty of what we're doing that when we buy the barrels, they stay at the distillery. We don't have to like logistically like move them somewhere else. So we can actually buy 5 barrels right now. And as memberships, are getting to the hands of the new members and we get more money into our Rare Rum collection wallet, we can actually 2 weeks later call them and say, hey guys, we need 2 more barrels. And then 3 weeks later, hey, can you add 5 more barrels? So if we were buying them and had to ship them to our warehouse in Madrid, for example, that means logistically it's a pain in the container and the customs and the paperwork for export, but they're staying there. So buy 5 right now and then every week we can top up.
5 is a good number. I like 5.
Now we're jumping really fast. This is now 10 years old. Ex-bourbon at 63%.
0,
63.
4, and what? 0, 4,
8.
7, 9, and 10.
Oh, this is 10.
His favorite has been 8 so far.
So let's do 10 and then we're jumping back. So this one we need to compare it more with this 4-year-old ex-bourbon.
Okay.
Because we tried new oak. I mean, we put them in order of age. Maybe we should have left this one for later, but it's fine. So let's jump back to the ex-bourbon, this time 10 years old. So in terms of color, well, the 8 and the 10 and the 13, they look very similar, but the 4 years, you can see it's a little bit lighter, right?
Yeah.
But the color is already intensifying for this 8 and 10. So very, see, beautiful gold. How do you see the legs? We haven't checked the legs.
The legs are strong, baby. Look strong.
Right. This one you can start feeling already the wood. The bitter, there's more bitter than before. Before it was more sweet, a little bit more like floral and fruity. And this one you are already starting to feel bitterness, and that's from that interaction between the liquid and the wood already for 10 years.
Nah, it's good. I like it too. This is like a jumbo. It tastes to me like a jumbo. Wood and the jumbo. This is still my third.
8 years.
This is good.
Well, I think it will be the American oak that is new. Are you a whiskey drinker? You drink bourbon?
Yes, I think I like bourbon. I like bourbon more than whiskey.
I mean, bourbon is American whiskey. They use at least 51% corn for their mash. Whiskey, we're talking about Scotland. They don't use corn. Maybe there's some using corn, but normally more grain, the other type of grains, and maybe because you like arepas and cachapas, then you like bourbon.
Definitely, yes, that could be.
I mean, it's still going there. Somehow, I also got more impressed by the 4 ex-bourbon and the 8 New Oak American. This one, is a bit too bitter for me, but it's beautiful. I mean, that's the thing, like sometimes the older it is doesn't mean that the better it is, right? Because there are like what you would call like optimal levels of aging, and there's a point where it's aging for a few years. It's like, let's say increasing in like aromas and body, and it's getting smoother. Let's say it's becoming better and smoother and more fantastic, right? But it doesn't mean that it's just a line that if you just continue aging for 50 years, it will get better, right? There's a point where you could tell a little plateau, right? Of like, okay, it's not, and actually it could even go down, and you can have a rum that then maybe the wood is just too much and all the tannins and everything is just, okay, this rum is not actually good anymore. It could happen.
Okay.
So it's not linear, as to like the more aging, the better. But still, I mean, it's a beautiful rum. Could be also that, I mean, we're trying at 60 something, right? So it could also be that there's a point where our palate also gets a little bit tired. That's why normally blends are around 40% alcohol. So if you see most of the rums will be 40%. This is a single cask from them, so it's 53, but still, we're seeing here all from the cask, and we're seeing that even the 20-year-old with cognac and with sherry and with river salt, they're still at 65, 61, 62. So if I can imagine that 53, I mean, I can be corrected after, but it's not like from the cask. So it's still a single barrel from one barrel at one, but you dilute it a little bit to 53 because, of course, like, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe this is not like, okay, it's not, like worse than the others or whatever. It's just that maybe at this level, you have to reduce it to 53 for you to appreciate it a bit more. So actually, we could even add water later. Let's finish, and then actually, let's come back to the 10 and add a little bit of water, and you will see how it becomes a different animal again. So the next one, we were going to taste the aged rum 13 years ex-bourbon at 63%.
63, so.
So let's do this. So the last one was 10 years. This is 13 years, same ex-bourbon. So let's see how it evolves.
Dangerous.
Color looks similar. Here, I mean the oak, of course, it's there.
This is
Now I feel vanilla for sure.
This is a champion.
It's beautiful on the nose. I don't feel that
Sounds
whiskey or bourbon accent too much.
8-13 for me right now.
What?
What is going on?
What? Completely different. I mean, it's evolved beautifully. Yeah, that 10-year-old, something happened there. Because from the 4-year, which was beautiful, 8 years is amazing, but it's not ex-bourbon. Then the 10-year was something like, what is this? But this is like going back to the evolution of the 4-year-old ex-bourbon.
I like the 0-year too.
Yeah. Hey,
Nice.
this one feels like if it was aged on like some like sweet wine cask, but not like Pedro Jimenez, not the more like a white wine kind of style. This one is beautiful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, definitely something to consider. We can get our hands, well, we can, but then we can definitely consider this 13-year-old ex-bourbon as one of the first rums to get from Cihuatan.
I've already considered that.
There's also a little bit spiciness, but not like pepper spicy, but more like cinnamon spicy. So I get some cinnamon notes in this one as well. So we continue the journey, the Cihuatan journey, and now we're gonna try an ex-bourbon 14 years. So this was 13, so this is just 1 year older in ex-bourbon, but then they age it 1 extra year in an ex-cognac. So that means they will take out the liquid from the ex-bourbon barrel, and then they will fill an ex-cognac barrel from France, and then keep it in that barrel for 1 extra year. So this is actually 15 years old. Let's see what we got here. Oui. It's getting a little bit darker. I mean, still the golden, but you can see how it's already
The golden years.
getting more color. Since this one also, for me, the aroma started like on the nose, started going like down, but I believe it's the glass.
In the shape.
The shape of the glass. I mean, it's talking about glasses, that could be a full-on 5-hour episode, but which we're not gonna get into right now. But definitely, you see, there's a difference in shape, and it may seem like, hey, whatever, it's just like, but that can change the whole tasting experience. And since these 4 glasses were the same shape, since we started this one, I could, now that I see it here, that my aromas are a little bit down, but you're still on the other glass. Okay.
So this is more rock and roll.
Yeah. That's definitely the cognac. Giving it a big punch for sure to this rum.
That's awesome.
And in a good way. I mean, yeah, definitely a good kick with this cognac. You can actually, it's funny because I cannot explain it, but it gave me a little bit of that like France, like air,
Good. So 1, 8, 13, 15 to me are approved. 0, 8, 13 and 15.
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. We'll push on this one as well. Okay. Are you ready for the next stage?
I'm always ready, baby.
So we're now going to do an 18-year-old ex-bourbon. So far, that the 13 is ex-bourbon only. That's the last one we tried. So this is already a jump to the 18-year-old ex-bourbon plus 2 years ex-sherry. So it's in total 20 years, 61.9% alcohol. And now it says ex-sherry. It could mean a Pedro Jimenez. It could mean an Oloroso. We need to double check what they actually mean by ex-sherry. I mean, which is specific. But they're both sherries, so maybe they could do blends of two sherries. I don't know, but we need to ask. This one is a bit tougher. I think it's at Pedro Jimenez, and by the look of it. When I try it, I could probably know, but from the look of it, because you see how dark it's getting? Yeah, and Oloroso is not dark.
Okay.
Whoa. Whoa. Definitely that sherry is like full on. So sherry, normally a sweet, the way I think or know is there are sweet wines from Spain. So Pedro Jimenez is actually a wine that comes from a raisin. Because what happens is that, raisins, when they become raisins from the grape, they actually lose most of the water. And the sugar concentration, it concentrates a lot. So that's why raisins are from grapes, right? And if you try a grape, it could be acidic. But then when you try a raisin, it's like super sweet. But it's not like they add sugar to a raisin. It's just that the sugars get concentrated from the evaporation of the water. So a Pedro Jimenez sweet wine is very sweet, but it's not because they add extra sugar. It's just because they do it from raisins. Wow.
Keep going.
Actually, if you serve me this and you don't tell me it's rum, I will probably not say it's rum. Will you say it's rum?
It's like it's everything. That one burned.
Wow. But let me tell you something.
It's good.
This is freaking amazing. I mean, you give me a bottle of this. First, I would say, if you ask me like, what do you think this is? I wouldn't think about rum for the first. I think it's Pedro Jimenez. We need to double check. But I'm pretty sure this is Pedro Jimenez.
See again. Let me see again.
Was. So I do feel the raisins, like plum,
I don't like plum.
But do you like this one?
This one is not my favorite, but I think it's interesting.
I think I know what you mean, because I could also say that it's not my favorite, but it's the most interesting one for me.
Yeah, just it's wild.
So
Wilder than the other.
yeah, the other ones are much easier to drink than this, but it's strange because normally Pedro Jimenez will actually a lot of distilleries, even in Scotch, they will use the ex-cherry or ex-Pedro Jimenez barrels because it will give you a little more sweetness, but this one is exactly it's actually becoming even more complex. Well, that's also the point, but it's becoming too many things there. I kind of understand what you mean, because I would say also the same. I think for me that American oak and which one was the other one? The ex-bourbon 13 and ex-bourbon with cognac. Nice, but I mean this. I would love to also have a barrel of this. Why not?
I agree.
It's just too interesting. It's just. So we're doing well. We're doing well.
Nice.
So, are you happy or sad that we're gonna taste the last sample?
I'm happy and sad at the same time. Being too much.
So this one is aged rum 18 years ex-bourbon, and then 2 years in ex-river salt. So that means 20 years total, 65.5%. Look at that. Look at that. So river salt is a sweet wine from the south of France, from the region of Languedoc. Languedoc-Roussillon. Let's just keep it at Languedoc. And I think I've never tried a rum
From the river of salt.
from the river of salt. So first time that I will try a finish on this sweet wine from the south of France. So it's exciting.
Rock and roll, no?
Oh shit.
Inside.
There you go. Look at this. So I would believe river salt wine is probably a white wine. You can see that it's a little bit lighter than the ex-sherry, but it's still quite dark. But that's because of the 18 years in ex-bourbon.
Really dark.
But it's quite dark. I mean, it's not gold. It's more coming a little bit reddish, no? I see some red.
Super red. It looks like a red lady. Redhead lady. With freckles.
It's a very good way too. So I think this will be your favorite then.
It looks like it's. I don't know. You have to kiss it first.
Okay.
This is not mine. I go for tea.
This is not your cup of tea? I would have to say completely the opposite. This thing is blowing my mind.
Nice. Let's get wild else then.
Yeah. I mean, it's super sweet. It's like biting a fruit. I don't even feel the alcohol. It's 65.5%. I mean, of course, my palate is already trained from the previous 7 samples, but I don't feel it that strong for being 65, which is the highest we have tried today. I don't feel that much of alcohol. Very sweet. It's and very full body. I feel like I'm actually biting in a fruit. I don't know which fruit, but I'm biting some kind of fruit.
What's the color? What's the color of the fruit? Is it brown? Is it?
No, it's probably like, I don't know, yellow, not orange.
Like the inside of a mango?
Like a mix between a banana and an apple.
That's awesome. Bananas and apples like orange. If they,
No, I mean the color.
what I'm saying, if they took,
No. Do they? No.
they could.
You resist. Like a guanábana. Like a guanábana.
But
How do you say guanábana in English?
guanabanizo.
And it's like also like I'm biting like a flower bouquet, you know?
Okay. That you got from the white.
So, dude, I could stay on this one. I
Stay-
could definitely stay on this one.
Stay there forever.
God.
This is my baby.
So,
What do you think? What numbers do you think? If we take 5, which one? Do you
well, I would take definitely this one. Pedro Jimenez, this is definitely interesting. This is so beautiful on the nose. This is the other glass. You see? This coincidence. I don't know if it's coincidence, but when I went to this one, the aromas are so much stronger than these 4 glasses, but it's because of the shape of the glass. Damn. You see how much difference
Yeah,
a glass can do.
Damn, son.
Like, there's like a glass specifically for cognac, a glass specifically for armagnac, for like tequila, specifically for rum, whiskey. It's like, it will change your experience completely.
Can change your life too.
Let's do a quick experiment. 10-year-old was not my favorite. For you?
It's good. But it's not my favorite. But
Well, that was the 4th one. That's the one you're drinking, the 10-year-old.
yes. No, but I have already.
No, but I want to do an experiment.
Yeah.
Let's try it. And then we add a little bit of water. So try it again, like, you're trying.
Yes.
Just tick. All right. Just tick. That's in Cambodian. Tick. Just tick is like, just a little bit. Charan. That means a lot. I think we put the first one.
That's pretty.
You see, it took away the edge of that oak wood bitterness. It took it out completely. So that's why some people will decide to bottle it what you call cask strength, which means they will choose to bottle it at 65%. But some people will decide to bottle it, for example, at 53.1%, which means you dilute it like this because it can get out all these edges. So that's the thing. Every barrel behaves differently. Every barrel has its own personality. So some barrels you can do straight 65. Some barrels you have to cut it down. And it's whatever you want to do with it, right? If you're the master blender, that's what you do. Bueno, Luis Rockets.
Thank you very much for the masterclass, Mr. Survivor. Thank you very much to Cihuatan for the liquids. I've had an amazing experience. I think this is like not my first tasting, but the first interesting tasting that I've ever been to. So thank you very much.
You mean like a proper tasting?
Yeah. Like this is one of a kind, and I really understood more about rum. And I have my favorites. I have 0 years. I have 8 years. I have 13 years, and I have 15 years. Those are my favorites.
Good. 15 years will be the with cognac. Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much. And Cihuatan, check your DMs, check your inbox. You got mail.
Check your email and check your socials. Wild.